All right, guys. Hey, give me a second. I want to make sure everything is setting up here. And it looks like it is. Give me a sec here, guys. It's not showing up here. Oh, there we go. All right. Takes a little bit for it to show up here. So, yep. I just want to say thanks. Wish you guys. I just want to say thanks for joining me on this on these 5 Minute Fridays. And let me go ahead and do my PowerPoint. And I know, I do appreciate you guys stopping by and watching this. It truly does mean a lot to me. Today we're going to be talking about distressed mortgages, secrets to massive return. And hang on a sec. All right. So once again, I am not a financial planner or CPA. This video is for educational purposes only. Please, please, please consult a qualified professional for advice. Any advice that I give you or anybody else gives you, please always consult with a qualified professional, either a CPA or a financial planner or for an attorney. Just take what we give you and just vet it, and then consult with your financial advisor, so that way they can help you. Everybody's goals is they're different, so just please always consult with a financial planner. So what is a distressed mortgage? It's basically a mortgage that's behind on payments, roughly like 90 plus days or more. Is a defaulted loan. I buy them where they're 3-5 years behind, but typically I like to see at least some payments within like the last 18 months or so, that they show that they have a willingness to stay in the house and they're actually in that property. Borrowers in default but not yet foreclosed. These are also called non-performing notes, NPNs, and they're problems for the banks, but they're an opportunity for you if you know how to work them. So why do banks actually sell these at a discount? Lenders want these loans off their books. They're too costly to manage or foreclose, and they're willing to sell for pennies on the dollars. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've got really good deals from banks that are just wanting to liquidate these notes. So your low price equals your upside. So how do you make money? You have several options. You can reperform, help the borrowers get back on track, modify or settle. New terms equals new cash flow. Foreclose or in deed in lieu of. You basically just take the property. So the deed in lieu of, instead of a foreclosure, you could do a deed in lieu. Basically, I've done this in the past where if foreclosure, say it's going to take you $3,500, $4,500 to foreclose, I just give that money to them and for them to sign the deed over to me. So that way I don't have to go through the foreclosure process. The deed in lieu of or deed in lieu, it's usually a shorter time frame if you're able to work that out. Foreclosure, they can jam you up for 14 to 18 to 24 months depending on the state that you're in. And then the other caveat is they can go ahead and file bankruptcy, and then that really puts a kibosh on the foreclosure until you go through the bankruptcy courts and things like that. So there are ways to handle that, and then also you can resell the note, flip it to another note investor. Typically, what I do is I buy it with the intentions on getting them reperforming, modifying. I'll buy the loan going in with the intentions of, like I said, modifying that loan, keeping them in that house, and then just keeping that note, and then ultimately selling it, 3 to 5 years down the road, depending on if I have, if I bought the note with private money or if I bought the note within my self-directed IRA. I'll just keep it and just hold it in my self-directed IRA. I won't sell it. I do these a lot. It seems like a lot of them that I've been modifying, they are within my self-directed IRA. So that way, I can keep them in there and then modify it. I do have I do know other note investors that their main goal is just to foreclose on the property and just get it back and keep it as a rental. Um, uh, or, a couple of people that I know that they want to keep it as an Airbnb and things like that. So it's whatever your particular exit strategy is. Like I said, my exit strategy is to keep it, modify it, and then keep reperform, and just like I said, keep them on my self-directed IRA. So the exit strategies, you do have to know these exit strategies before going in, because that kind of dictates on how you're going to buy this note and how you're going to approach this note. So here's a real life example. I bought a non-performing note for $20,000. They actually got it reperforming at 450 for 5 years. So I collected $27,000, and my yield on this note was 2.5%, or up 2.5%, 12.5% yield. So it's a pretty good yield. Still better than rentals, and I didn't have to deal with broken toilets. At one time I did have a boatload of rentals. Got out of that and strictly focusing on performing and non-performing notes. So risks to watch out for: long timelines. Foreclosures can take months or years, and then more specifically, if the borrower files bankruptcy, then that halts the foreclosure process until they go through the bankruptcy proceedings. And maybe what I'll do is I'll do a 5-minute-ish Fridays on bankruptcies and things like that, because it kind of seems a lot of people, this is a black box, this bankruptcy. So I can kind of do another one just to kind of, it's not that big of a deal. Um, you know, chapter bankruptcy 7s versus chapter 13s. I tend to buy a lot of chapter 13s, just restructuring a debt. And so, in all intents and purposes, the bankruptcies and 13s are performing notes, right? So, but if you do buy a note, just know if you do buy a non-performing note and you have a real, timeline of, I think it's going to take me 12 months to foreclose, but if they file bankruptcy, it will take you longer. So just always kind of, keep that in the back of your mind when you're approaching these. No payments equals no cash flows. A lot of people, they don't get that, with this non-performing note. I guess they don't realize that. So just always remember that. And then also legal cost or property damage on those non-performing notes. It does happen, and you got to get eyes on those properties. Always do your due diligence and have a backup plan. So why these works in a down market: more people fall behind during economic downturns, more notes hit the market, often deeply discounted, and smart investors buy when others panic. And so just always, and let me back up on this one. So just, when there is a down market, you can take advantage of people on this. Like I said, I buy these with the intentions of keeping the borrower in the property. I do not want that property at all. I want that borrower, something happened where some life event happened to that borrower where they can't make those payments. And I approach it where, one, if I can help them, I will. But two, if maybe something I can't help them and they can't stay in that property, and then I can help them, get out of that property doing a deed in lieu of. But if they hamstring me, then obviously foreclosure is the last thing that I want to do. But just, always do your due diligence on these. And then some key takeaways: distressed property, it equals a discount and it equals potential big returns for you. You're solving problems other avoids, and massive returns come from creative solutions, just not high rates. So I think that is it. This is pretty, like I said, I like to keep these 5-minute Fridays to, 5 minutes, to 10 minutes. Sometimes they go a little bit longer. But if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat, or you can shoot me an email, larry@ljhinvestments.com, or send me a text or call me, 513-301-1468, or you can schedule a 30-minute session at talkwithlarryhoffman.com. Here, let me switch back over here. Once again, you can schedule an appointment with me to talk either about distressed mortgages, distressed notes, performing notes. If you're looking to put some of your lazy assets to work, just please feel free to book a time with me. Talkwithlarryhoffman.com. I would be more than willing to spend some time with you to help you out any way I can. So I think that is it. I do not see any